Okay, this is block 8. Go ahead and set up your drawing with name block 8, and we're going to keep scale 1/2 inch equals an inch. Probably helpful if you find your post-it note if you're struggling with making sense of these. Some of you guys are probably getting to a point where you can draw them without much help from me, from videos, from the post-it, but don't feel bad if you are using any of those tools still to help you out. Make sure you find a graph paper where the Y is going this way. Okay, a few of you guys found some old graph paper that was set up kind of sideways, and I think it's screwing people up. So make sure that your axes are going the same direction as mine. X here, Y here, Z here. And let's get started. So if your starting point for your last one got you pretty centered up, then kind of keep it in the same spot. If not, you might adjust a little bit. I like to go about 1/3 over and 1/3 up. Put a starting point somewhere in here. Again, I'm using a Sharpie just so you guys can see it better, but you shouldn't be using anything but a pencil. All right, so that starting point is going to put me right here. So I'm going to find my length. It's 3. Adjust for scale. Numbers double with this scale. So 3 becomes 6. Is it height, width, or depth? That is a width because it's side to side. Which axis? Width goes on X, and X is this one, okay? So I'm gonna come, that's not gonna end up centered very well. Oh well, that's fine. I'm gonna come along the X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And draw a line for that bottom. Okay, I always want to do my angles last so I don't have to figure out the length of them. So I'm going to try to draw and get all the way around to this point now, and then I'll just connect to get my angle. Okay, so I need to do right here. That number is not given, but I have enough information to get it. 3.5 total height minus 1 3/4 equals 1 3/4. So this right here is going to be 1 3/4. I don't know if we've done a fourth yet, but I know you guys can figure it out. But first let me go through my steps here. So my length is 1 3/4. If I double for scale, that becomes 3.5. Height, width, or depth. This is going up to bottom to top. So it's a height, and height goes on the Y, and the Y is the up and down. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3.5. Okay, make sure you are in between two X's there. Then I'm going to go back to this is a width again. So find the length, 1 3/4. Adjust for scale, becomes 3.5. Height, width, or depth, side to side is a width. Width goes on X. X is that one. So I'm going to go, you might want to watch how I count these. 1, 2, 3, and a half is right there. It gets kind of tricky when you're counting the halves and you got to jump in between them, so make sure you ended up where I did. Okay, now I am here. Find the length, 1 3/4. Adjust for scale, 3.5. Height, width, or depth. Bottom to top is a height. Height goes on Y. Y is that one. So again, you might want to watch me count. 1, 2, 3.5. Okay. This length is, I gotta kind of look in several spots to figure out that length. My overall width of this thing is 5, because 3 plus 2 is 5. I've already done 1 3/4, so that leaves me with 3 1/4. 5 minus 1 3/4 equals 3 1/4. Okay, so that is this length overall. Adjust for scale. If I double that, it's 6.5. Height, width, or depth, side to side is a width. Which axis? Width goes on X. So I need to be 6.5 along the X. You might want to watch me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 goes right there. Connect. Oop, I went a hair too far. Make sure I stop right there. I'll fix it. I'll cover it up. Okay, that puts me here. So I'm going up and down. 1.5, adjust for scale. Becomes 3, height, width, or depth. Up and down is height, which axis Y. I'm gonna come down 1, 2, 3. Now I can draw that angle because I found both of its endpoints. I never actually had to measure it. Okay, now I just need to make this thing 3D. So I need to add all of my Z's. Depth, find the length, 1.5. Adjust for scale, 3. Height, width, or depth, front to back, or thickness is depth. Which axis? Depth goes on Z. Z is that one, or that one. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a 3 on all of my Z's. You might wanna watch me count them. Here, 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I just need to go around and connect. There. There. And then this one is gonna just kind of, I'm not gonna use a ruler, probably should, but it's super short. Just goes like that. Okay. Let me try to get all that on the screen. There is your block 8. Raise your hand, get me to approve it, put a picture in your turn-in folder.